Hey, shalom, shalom, shalom. Before I get this lesson started, I want to give all praise and glory to Yahweh, Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Hashem, Kakadash, double honors, and double honors to the elders and the apostles, the great millstone that we might learn from. And shalom to the hope elect, 144,000 chosen, taking this truth to the four corners of the earth, bidding the elect spirits of Yasharallah to the marriage supper of the Lamb. This is your brother Adah. This lesson, I want to start off by saying this lesson is a lesson to myself. It is going to be made public, but this is me coming in the spirit or the mentality of I'm speaking to myself as the audience in order to attempt to rehearse and practice and get this started in this you know how the scriptures say rehearse the righteous acts. Rehearsing is, I want to liken it to a type of a repetition, doing something over and over and over again to develop spiritual, mental, physical muscle memory, where it just becomes a second, it just becomes a natural response, you know, not something that you have to strain to do. In this precept, in this chapter, we see King Solomon, the son of David, whom we've also come to learn in this wisdom, knowledge, understanding, the deeper truth of who King Solomon is, which is he is Yahweh Shai. This is one of his lots. This is why the Most High Yahweh spoke to the prophet Nathan, who was King David's prophet, and told the vision to King David, saying that King Solomon will be his son, that if he sins and transgresses, he will stripe him with the rod or the stripes of men, but his mercy will not depart from him, as he took it away from King Saul. There's some very powerful personal declarations that Yahweh gave the prophet Nathan to tell King David specifically about this son. King David had many sons, but this son was pointed out, and so this is Yahweh Shai is King David. I mean, it's like Yahweh Shai is King Solomon. So, and this is why Yahweh told King David that your son, who's going to be my son, will build the temple. And because Yahweh Shai is the head, he's the head. He's the firstborn of creation. So, but he's in his lot right now as King Solomon. So he's not Yahweh Shai, even though he is Yahweh Shai. It's a mystery. Okay? He does not know that he's Yahweh Shai. He knows he's special, not in an arrogant manner, but he knows that there's been prophecies declared to his father specifically about him, that he should rule. This is how they know. This is how they knew when he was going to rule, because one of his brothers tried to take the throne, and it was like, no, man. And there was a big drama about it. That's a whole other beautiful story that you can go into prayer and approaching the throne of the Most High Yahweh to keep his word and place Yahweh Shai on the throne of King David. One of his brothers tried to jump the gun and get on the throne when it had already been prophesied that King Solomon was to sit and reign and rule, as well as King Solomon would build the temple. We were dwelling in tents since he took us out of Egypt, and we were being established as a nation on so many levels, with laws and prophecies and statutes, the functionalities of those laws and statutes, which then manifested into a physical building, and even that physical building had to be built and was built a specific kind of way, right? So we're in this particular story, a very powerful. I want to try to open up something that this is for me. I know I sound like I'm, because I am saying it to people, but this is also for me because I have not developed the mature discipline of this yet, but I know of it, and it's time to start really tapping into this. I'm going to read starting from verse 11. Thus Solomon finished the house of Yahweh and the king's house, and all that came into Solomon's heart to make, or his mind, to make the house of Yahweh, and in his own house he prosperously effected. And Yahweh appeared. Now listen to this. There's a major prayer that King Solomon offers up when he dedicates the temple. I've gone over that before. 1 Kings chapter 8, if you guys want to reference that. That is the prayer that is the Most High is he's talking to him about. There's a long prayer in 1 Kings chapter 8. And Yahweh appeared unto Solomon by night and said unto him, if I have heard thy prayer and have chosen this place to myself for a house of sacrifice. Right there. Later we hear Yahushua in the New Testament say a house of prayer, because that's involved in sacrifice. You're going to speak words, and as we return to our heritage, we are unlearning the wicked practices that we grew up in here in Mystery Babylon, America, the West. We are unlearning all those ways, all of those false heritages. Oh, we're African American, we're black, we're Latino, we're Mexican, we're Native American Indians. You know, those are the, and then all those of you Israelites who have been scattered to the other nations that grew up another way that might even look like the heathen. There's going to be Hebrew Israelites that look like white people. There's Hebrew Israelites that look like Chinese people. We were scattered to the four corners of there. That was part of the punishment. And the seed of the men was spread all over the place. Just like there are Edomites, just like there are white children who look black. There are Edomite children who look Chinese, because Esau has, in his rulership, been all over the earth laying down with women. So it just happens. The seed of the man always determines the outcome of the nation of the child. And we have not been taught that. So that's another mystery. Again, let me come back to the original point. If I shut up, okay, so right here, Salakia for that. And Yahweh appeared unto Solomon by night and said unto him, I have heard thy prayer and have chosen this place for myself for a house of sacrifice. Let's get, let me see, 2 Chronicles 7:13. Let's get the blue letter, because this is what we got to start really. Oh man, 2 Chronicles 7:13. Come on, we'll get the. Let me get the. If I should get right here, sacrifice. Let me see. Of sacrifice, okay. It's Hebrew, okay. Sacrifices of righteousness. So these are specific. These are right-handed. There's a specific way these can be done, and they have to be followed. Okay, there's grace, you guys. Yahushua has grace, but we don't give these away. We don't stop doing them. This is a way, a provision, that a pathway has been made to the Most High through Yahushua, where a nation of people can approach him. And how are these sacrifices converted? If you look at a lot of the sacrifices, and I'm a novice in this. I'm not an expert, okay? I'm learning this, but from my observation, what I have seen is blood is an atoning, right? And it's got to be from a male without blemish, and that's represented in the Older Testament by a specific kind of animal. It wasn't just any male. It wasn't like a male owl or a male whale. It was a land animal that was edible, that was determined clean and edible by the Leviticus law, which would be what? A ram or a goat. It had to be firstborn without blemish, and that blood was acceptable to put on the doorpost. I just learned this about the door. What's the door? The doorpost and the lintels of the door. The doorposts support the door, and I'm still learning this. And the lintel supports the weight of the roof upon the door. I could be wrong about that, but that's the specific application of that specific blood from that specific animal had to specifically be applied. The door. What does Yahushua say he is in the New Testament? I am the door. There's a connection there. I'm not all the way fully understanding it, but I saw it the other day when I was like, wait a minute, hold up. So just bringing that up. Also, That's the blood. Now, what else is everything else? Everything else is burnt. Everything else that is specific according to the animal. You can't just burn any type of fuel. You can't put diesel in a gas engine car. You cannot, or you probably shouldn't, put kerosene in a lamp for your house because of the way it burns. Does that make different types of oils burn at different types of combustibilities, therefore affecting the way the flame burns? I am assuming, these are my words, I'm trying to just bear with me, okay? Same thing with certain types of animals. They smell differently. There's a different composition. There's a different elemental. There's a different. What's the word I want to use? Pork meat is different than cow or beef meat. They eat differently. They have a different functionality. They both can burn, but one is acceptable on the altar before the Most High, and one is not. That's his choice. This is his order. This is what he wants. Right? So these fragrances that are, if you look at some of the offerings in the Old Testament, it's always a certain cut of meat from a specifically type of clean animal. And sometimes the meat, there's an organ or a portion of the meat that's got a lot of fat on it. The Most High wants that. And why? What is fat? Fat converts or melts. It turns into an oil. It liquefies. It's a combustible. It's a fuel. It's like, it's like an incense. It's oil for the lamp, but it's being offered in a chunk of meat from a specific animal. And then there's also some offerings where you put a specific spice. You salt it. You have to salt it, and you're allowed to put other types of. I want to say frankincense. I don't know if it, but I've heard of it. That's kind of odd. Because this is not being consumed by the mouth and tongue. This is being consumed by the nostrils. It's breath. It's an inhaling. It's a breathing in, a smelling of a fragrance that has been prepared specifically a certain way to get a certain outcome. This is me attempting to just, in normal English words, communicate some of my observations. And it's like, okay, so what are we called to do? We are called to be a living sacrifice, right? So now that I'm saying that, let's keep reading. And Yahweh appeared to Solomon by night and said unto him, I have heard thy prayer and have chosen this place to myself for an house of sacrifice, a house of incense offerings, a house of atonement. That they have to be done a specific way. And it's an arrangement of different sacrifices, but they're specific. And it has to do with smelling, a sweet and smelling savor, okay? If I shut up and then look, and then he pivots, then look at this next line. This is like, what? But it makes sense once you start to understand Yahweh, okay? I've made this place a sacrifice, a house of sacrifice, right? Then the next line, look what he says. He doesn't say anything about Satan. Satan is not mentioned. Satan is he's positioned at the left-hand side of Yahweh, but this is the Most High saying, if I shut up heaven, that there be no rain. If I command the locust to devour the land. Or if he says I 3 times about himself, send pestilence among my people. His people are the Hebrew Israelites. It's not just any random person that says I'm his people because of white Jesus. That's all bullshit, man. This is being spoken to. Who is this being? This is being spoken to King Solomon. Who is King Solomon? King Solomon is the son of David. Who is King David? King David is the king of Israel that's fighting with King Solomon, another king, another Hebrew Israelite king, and every other race of people on planet Earth. He was not friends with anybody. King David did not get along with the Philistines. King David's whole fame started by him killing and chopping off the head of a champion of another race of people. That jacket, that MO or that stigma, if you want, that went out through the whole world. King David just cut off Goliath's head. Why? And what did King David call Goliath? You're an uncircumcised Philistine. What does that mean? Circumcision is specific to a race of people, and it's manifested on a covered, sexual organ of all the men. They were the only race of men on planet Earth who were cut down below. Every other race of men on planet Earth at this time all had floppy cocks, bro. That's I apologize. I'm sorry for saying that. I'm trying to tone down on my behavior. Sometimes on these lessons, I don't want to start just saying anything. I don't want to do that, man. You have to understand when King David, and King David he's not speaking about the man's genitalia based on size, or that's not what this has got nothing. Come on. What happens when a child boy is circumcised, you guys? Well, he bleeds, blood comes out of his body, right? When does it happen? It happens on the 8th day after he was born, so he doesn't even remember it when he gets older. He gets his foreskin cut off. He cries, ouch, what is that? He bleeds, and then he heals, and there's a scar, there's a ring, there's a circle, there's a cycle. How does the moon and the sun move? In a circular type cycle, right? How do the seasons go from the first head of the year, Abib, the Passover month, all the way to the last month, Adar, and those months mean something. I think the first month believes it means green or new growth or first fruits or spring. It means that. And then the last month I think it means glorious. So when a man bleeds, when a child man bleeds after he's been circumcised and he's been dedicated to Yahweh, what comes out of that portion of his body? The seed, the offspring. The seed of the man determines the national outcome of the child, regardless of the woman. There's a lot in this, you guys. So listen, I'm saying all that to say this. King Solomon, King David are a type of men on the earth that don't get along, that have been separated, called out from every other race of people. Their whole history is them fighting with everybody and coming out of Egypt as being slaves. This is specific to the Hebrew Israelites. Let me come back to my original point. If I shut up heaven, that there be no rain, if I command the locusts to devour the land, if I send pestilence among my people. Now he pivots again. If my people, which are called by my name. What's the name of Yahweh? What's the name of the Most High? What's the name of the Son? Everybody says they know his name today. That's not his name. His name is Yahweh. When it says called by my name, that has to do with marriage. That's what the circumcision is. You had to get circumcised to be called by the name of Yahweh, and you had to have been told that secret. That's a secret, because nobody else on earth was cutting their child's foreskins off. Nobody. Why? Because they didn't hear that secret. Only the prophets, who are Hebrew Israelites, were told that secret by the Most High. I want you to take your child on the 8th day, consecrate him to me, cut off his foreskin. That's what he told Abraham to do to Isaac. Who is Isaac, you guys? Isaac is Yahweh Shai in the reincarnation. Yahweh Shai was circumcised. King Solomon was circumcised. Isaac was circumcised. Those are all tokens. Those are all, what's the word? Applications, or, what's the word? When you sign a contract, those are all consummations of a covenant contract that the Most High was doing with the men of this nation and this nation only. Okay? So that's what constitutes my people. If my people, which are called by my name, because he also makes a covenant with those men and their seed and their seed's seed. He's talking about the sperm. So today, the seed of those men who are on the earth, that's who God's people is. If my people, which are called by my name, look, shall humble themselves. That's fasting. This is not, you guys, get off of this. It's an emotional thing. Oh, I'm being humble. Oh, I'm not going to cuss today. That's not humble, dude. That's not what humbling goes into, not eating food. No, I don't care what the Christian community wants to say. Oh, no, dude, it's not eating food. It goes into making yourself weak, right? And remember the offering of the living sacrifice, and you begin to smoke. When you don't eat for like 2 or 3 days, you're in a very weakened state. Why? Because you have been designed to need fuel. You need to drink water. You need to eat food. When you put off drinking water and you put off eating food, and I think there's only 2 times in Scripture where we see the Hebrew Israelites those are the times it was recorded. It was more than that, but in Esther's time, they didn't drink water for 3 days and they didn't eat for 3 days. That is an intense fast. And the Apostle Paul doesn't eat or drink water for 3 days after he sees Yahweh. That is an intense fast. And then there's a requirement of the Day of Atonement where we don't drink water or eat food that day. I've observed those. I've observed that type of fasting twice with GMS, following GMS. I stay home. I don't go to work. I just stay home in my room all day. Now just regular fasting. No food and drinking water. This is specifically, I gotta say this, for a 3-day fast. Again, I'm saying this for myself. When you stop to eat food and you're just drinking water and you're humbling yourself before the Most High, look, if my people which are called by my name shall humble themselves and pray, there goes when Yahweh Shai said house of prayer, and seek my face. What's his face? We have come to understand that a man's wisdom makes his face to shine. That's in Proverbs. We understand that when he says my face, he's talking about his wisdom. His wisdom is specific to his doctrine. His doctrine is specific to his voice. Who is the representative of his face today? It starts off with Yahweh Shai, and then it goes down to his prophets on the earth. And his prophets on the earth, my sheep hear my voice. My sheep understand my doctrine. And it's not Western Renaissance Christianity. It's not white people. I have to say it. You have to hear. It's not what the white man has said. They made the Bible about white America. The scriptures were written on the other side of the planet before America was even a thought. America now has the vibration all over the earth. Everybody wants to be American-like. They want to dress and talk and move like Americans. And the version of Christianity that has been spread all over the earth has been spread by free Masonic white men. And all the so-called black men who also spread that same doctrine, they were taught that doctrine during slavery. It was forced onto them. And in the generations of our people who believed in it, we accepted it, and then everything we do is 10 times more intense than what white people do, because we're the true Hebrew Israelites. We just don't know it. And so now you got white people representing white Jesus. You got black people representing white Jesus, and the whole planet think that that's what the Bible is. It's not what it is. It's not what it is. If my people, which are called by my name, shall humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then if my people let me say it differently. If my people, which are called by my name, Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai, will humble themselves, a 3-day fast, no food, but you can drink water, and pray the prayers, Abanawa Shabbat Shemayim Kodash Haya Shemka, Yahweh Malakwatka Thaba'a Watazaka Haya Bashemayim. The Our Father in Hebrew. Learn the prayers. Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai Shalak Rayam Wa Anashim Wa Haragim Wa Mashapatiyam Al Kal Adawamyam Wa Gawamyam Wa Ayabyam Nawa Babakasha the Wada Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai Amen. Learn the prayers in Hebrew. If my people will pray, seek my face. Who is the face of Yahweh now? The scriptures say what? Yahweh Shai has been made wisdom. Let's pull that precept. I gotta type it in. Give me a second here, Salakia. And again, I apologize for who has been made wisdom for us. Wisdom for us. I'm paraphrasing it. It's in 1 Corinthians. Come on. I think that's it. Because I'm just new to this. I just got this the other day, listening to a brother teaching wisdom. Oh, yeah. So look. So 1 Corinthians 1:30. But of him are ye in Hamashiach Yahweh Shai, who, the Elohim, who the Most High, is made unto us wisdom, his face, and righteousness, and sanctification, and redemption. So Yahweh Shai, when he was King Solomon, wonderfully, brilliantly sang and danced out the most beautiful expression, description of who and how and what wisdom is in the book of Wisdom of Solomon, in Proverbs, in Ecclesiastes, in Song of Solomon. And then one of his sons, or one of the men of his nation later, just brilliantly adds, good Lord, so much more with it, along with it, or agrees to it, like astoundingly, in the book of Ecclesiasticus. And those books are in the Apocrypha, and the so-called white man took the Apocrypha out of the Bible in the 1800s when we were in our slavery. Yet they claim to teach the world the truth about the Bible, and then when you bring up the Apocrypha, the first response out of everyone's mouth is, that's not the scriptures. And if you would just read it. But hey, whatever. The argument is, dude, if you were to, have you ever heard about like a liver transplant? When you, this is a long time ago, it takes 12 hours. It might not today, but I remember back a while ago, they said it takes 12 hours to transplant a liver. Why? Because there are so many blood vessels that attach from that organ to the body, right? And I'm just using the fact that if you look at the Bible as a body with body parts, when you take the Apocrypha and you place it next to the body or next to the Bible, you can see it there. It perfectly fits, and there are so many thousands and thousands of blood vessels that perfectly connect to all the other blood vessels in the body of the Bible. And the blood vessels are representative of scriptures, history, record. It's just perfectly. So anyone who says that the Apocrypha is not scriptural, they are completely coming from a blinded, dark place. They do not know what they are talking about. And I'm being very self-controlled. I want to cuss so bad right now, because I have read the Apocrypha and I continue to read it. And every day, every week, every month, another blood vessel, another line, another story, another record connects it to the Bible. And I continue to get edified, and I continue to increase in my anger, because I see more and more and more every day. And I continue to hear fucking people say that's not the Bible. It is stupid. Anyways, if my people, which are called by my name, shall humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then I will hear from heaven and will forgive their sin and will heal their land. If my people who are called by my name, Yahweh B'Hashem Yahweh Shai, will humble themselves in a 3-day fast and learn how to fast consistently and start becoming disciplined where they're constantly doing it, and pray, Allah Abanawa Shabbat Shemayim Kodash Yasimka Yahweh Malakwaka, and seek my face, seek my son Yahweh Shai, because he is my wisdom. My son Yahweh Shai is my wisdom. He represented my wisdom on the earth. He explained my wisdom on the earth. He showed how my wisdom is specific to a specific people group on the earth on the right-hand side, which are the Hebrew Israelite men. And will And then from there, and what Yahweh shall I say? If you love me, you will keep my commandments. What are his commandments? Go to Wisdom of Solomon. Go to Wisdom of Solomon, and then jump back to the Gospels, and just put them together. Because Yahweh Shai speaks about the wisdom of his Father. Because wisdom is what brings you to a kingdom. If you love thrones and scepters, you have to love wisdom first. You have to love her first. Throughout the ages, she enters into holy souls, making them prophets and friends with the Most High. And the only people who are prophets, hearing the secrets, hearing what circumcision is, what no one else heard, are the Hebrew Israelite men. It is, and the Most High is the same yesterday, today, and forevermore. He does not change. Okay? Then will I hear from heaven and will forgive their sins, right? And I will heal their land. What's the healing of the land? He's going to cause the rain to come, right? Let me see. Let's go back. Okay, verse 13. He will open up the heavens. It will rain physically and spiritually. Rain is doctrine. You'll get more understanding. You'll get provision. You'll get water for your crops. You'll get spiritual water. Absolute spiritual water is needed. Living water. The locusts will stop eating you. That's left-handed attacks. Also pestilence, physical attacks in the earth, and then the pestilence. That's your diseases. That's also left-handed attacks, and it's also the stuff that comes out of Esau, man. All of that stuff you'll be guarded from. But what's happening though? Now you're in a place of submission, where you are placing yourself on the altar long enough so that Yahweh Shai can do what? So that they can smell you. They can smell you burning on the altar, and you are specifically positioned in a specific way so that the fragrance that is coming off you smells a certain way. Now let's pull something. Osmodeus, Tobit. When he smells the smoke, I don't know if I'm Osmodeus. Osmodeus smells the smoke and flees. Smells the smoke. This is the only and flees. I'm paraphrasing. It's in Tobit. Come on, where are you? No. Oh, as M, and then let me put Tobit. According to, and see, people, they accuse us of witchcraft because they don't understand our ways. This is so stupid, man. Then which smell when the evil spirit, okay, let's go back one. And as he went, okay, Tobit 8:2. And as he went, he remembered the words of Raphael, the angel. And he took the ashes of the perfumes. He took the ashes of the perfumes and put the perfumes, what are the ashes? And he put the heart and the liver, those are organs of a clean animal, of the fish thereupon, and made a smoke therewith. What's the smoke? It's a fragrance. It's a burning sacrifice, right? The witch smell, when the evil spirit had smelled, he fled into the utmost parts of Egypt, and the angel bound him. This left-handed power, who was named Osmodeus, if you go further or sooner in the book, it gives you the complete detail. He was killing all the husbands of this girl Sarah that was trying to get married, and they were in their captivity. It was a northern kingdom. This is a northern kingdom record. It's an amazing book. A lot of prophecy in this book. She tried to get married 7 times, and every time Osmodeus killed the man before he was able to consecrate the marriage. They were expecting Tobias to die as well, and so there's a lot in this. That you got 7, which is the number of completion. We have been in slavery or captivity 7 times. She gets married. She prays. Tobias prays for 2 different reasons in their captivity. Yahweh sends Raphael to Tobit, and he takes on the form of a man and literally is walking around with this guy, giving him instructions. It's a very intense read. It takes faith. And then once you realize, hold up, it's because we're not used to tasting the food of our natural heritage. we have been so watered down and so Babylonianized. I remember when I first read this, I knew that the Apocrypha was the scriptures, and I'm being straight up. But I was wanting to question, was Raphael really walking around with Tobit? Yes, he was. But when I first read it, I was like, whoa, that's kind of hard to believe. But that was all the junk coming out of me because I had been so programmed by America. Now it's like, wow, I completely get it. This is a bomb book. But we see here the smell of smoke, specifically from specific organs of a specific animal with spices offered up, and that the flame converts the material into an incense, and that is spiritually acceptable. And once Asmodeus, the left-handed power, saw that, he understood, oh snap, my time on the earth that I was, because he was sent, Yahweh sent him. He was a pestilence. He was a locust. He was devouring the husbands of this woman. That was a judgment on the northern kingdom. It was also a type and shadow of what we were going through as an entire nation. That our husband, because of our adulteries, we weren't getting married. We were married, but we were becoming a widow because he's divorcing us. Right? There's a lot. I'm kind of all over the place, but that's what's in this story, bro. So Yahweh then sends the angel. He sends a right-handed angel to then give Tobias instruction on how to remove the left-handed angel and how to bring healing to his father's eyes. Because he later also applied some of the oil of the gall of that same fish to his father's eyes. And his father was blind for 7 years or 8 years or something. So you got all this happening. This girl's trying to get married. Her husbands keep dying. You got Tobit, who's a faithful man, but he's in captivity, and he loses his eyes. He's burying the dead. He's following as much of the law as he can in his captivity, and then he loses his eyesight, because some bird dung falls into his eyes. I'm paraphrasing. So he goes blind, and then they're sending their son to go get some money that they saved somewhere. I'm paraphrasing again. And so the girl prays, and Tobias prays for wisdom on the path or something like that, and the Most High sends a right-handed angel, Raphael, to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. And he's using the altar and living sacrifice and the incense to restore it all. Let's go back to right here. So right here, look. If I shut up heaven, that there be no rain, if I command the locusts to devour the land, or if I send pestilence among my people, you can see some of that in the book of Tobit. The Most High sent Asmodeus, and that's the only other name outside of Satan, the prince demon spirit. The only other name, well, there's Baal and Moloch, but those are statues. This left-handed spirit, he had a name. And people were aware that anytime that girl Sarah tried to get married, that spirit, that they even said there's a spirit that loves her, and he kills any man that tries to marry her. They understood that there was a left-handed power preventing this woman to step into her marriage. So it wasn't that he loved her; he was assigned to her. He was sent. 2 Chronicles 7:13 tells us how Asmodeus got there. He was sent. So how did he get unsent or sent back? If my people, which are called by my name, shall humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then will I hear from heaven and will forgive their sins and will heal the land. And then he ends up getting married to the girl. It's an honorable marriage. And then when he comes home, he puts the oil of the fish in his dad's eyes, and instantly his blind sight his blindness is healed. And then Tobit's father starts to prophesy about all kinds of stuff. So pray that this lesson was edifying. This is more to myself than others, but others are allowed to listen. I got to get this fasting thing to a self-disciplined place. I got to humble myself, man. I pray that this lesson is edifying. I want to give all praise and glory to Yahweh, Bashim, and Shine, double honors to the elders and apostles, the great millstone, that put my learn from. Shalom.